Hello, I'm Ali and I'm one of the dietitians from Cardiff and Vale Health Board. This is now our fourth video in our series of videos for pregnant women looking at key food and nutrition messages in pregnancy. This video is going to look at dairy and alternatives, which is the blue section here in the Eat Well guide. This food group not only gives us protein, so same as the beans, pulses, fish, eggs and meats, but it also gives us some key vitamins and minerals, especially during pregnancy. Those are calcium, so that's to help maintain mum's bone health, as well as support building those lovely bones for baby. Vitamin B12, which helps support our nervous system and healthy blood cells. And then also iodine, which is key for baby's brain development. There are a number of ways of getting those key vitamins and minerals in within this food group. So here we have milk, we have yogurts, and we have different types of yogurts such as Greek yogurts, live yogurts, and we have different types of cheeses as well. Now, majority of cheeses are absolutely fine to eat during pregnancy, but there are a small number that we want to be avoiding. Those include those that are soft, mould ripened cheeses, so they'll be the ones with the coating, the white coating on, such as brie or camembert. Also, we'll be thinking about not having those ones that are blue veined, but also soft. Also, things that are made with unpasteurised raw milk, so it might be cow's milk, sheep's milk, goat's milk. We'd be looking at avoiding those as well. But hard cheeses and such things as our soft white cheese here, or our spread cheese, and a full number of other cheeses are absolutely fine. Those food safety key messages are on that NHS website, and they've got a lovely long list of the do's and don'ts around food, very, very clear. During pregnancy, we don't actually need to have any more calcium than the average woman, but we do need to make sure that we are having enough. On average, we don't actually have enough calcium in our diet, and therefore that can be a detriment to our dental health, but especially our bone health. So this is key to think about during your week. Now, if we are going to have enough, we'd be looking at a glass of milk, around 200 mils, a pot of yoghurt, and then a small block of cheese. That would actually give us enough of calcium and our B vitamins that we need for the day. But what we don't need to do is necessarily have this variety. We could have all of our calcium from just our milk, so that would be around a pint of milk, or if we just enjoy yogurts. What we can't do is rely solely on cheese. This is because it can be very, very high in fat and salt, and that would give us far too much of those things. But there are ways of reducing that amount of fat that we get from any of these products really. So looking at labels, trying to find things that are reduced fat, lower in fat, or even 0% fat would be ideal. So it's back to looking at those labels, those traffic light systems at the front there. And that would be key when we're thinking about some of maybe our milky puddings and our desserts. They can give us calcium, but it would be important to look to see how much sugar and fat some of these have. Now, again, there are ways of serving up some of these as well. So for example, this is a 30-gram block of cheese, but when grated, it looks a lot more. So we're looking at having 3 portions of our dairy and alternatives. Now, when we're thinking about the alternatives, they would need to be fortified with calcium and B vitamins to come within these. Now, there are other ways of getting calcium and B vitamins in, and that would include things like our fortified cereals, our fortified breads, there are fortified juices as well. So that's a great way of getting the calcium in. Also another way is foods such as our tinned fish with bones in. That can actually give us just as much calcium in half a tin of this as a glass of milk or as a block of cheese. So that's a great way of getting the calcium in too. There are a number of dairy alternatives as well. Now, we just have to be mindful here. Many of the milks and yogurts are fortified with calcium and B vitamins, but majority of the cheeses aren't. So they won't actually have calcium or B vitamins in, and pretty much all of them don't have iodine in. There's only 1 or 2 that have iodine in. So just take a look at the labellings. If they are fortified, they will have it quite clearly on there, and also on the back in the nutritional information. But do just take a look at those labels. If you are not having any fish and you're also consuming the non-dairy alternatives, then we would be looking to think about having a supplement of iodine. So nothing more than 140 to 150 micrograms a day, but it would be key to have that. Vitamin D is really important to have to help absorb calcium. So if you are getting out and about and enjoying some safe sun, then you will be getting enough vitamin D during the spring summer months. But if you are staying in for whatever reason, or if you do cover up your skin or have darker skin, then it's really important to have a vitamin D supplement, around 10 micrograms a day. Now that might be completely on its own, so as a single supplement, or it might be within your Healthy Start vitamins or within a multivitamin. That's absolutely fine, as long as it's around 10 micrograms. So with the dairy and alternatives, this is giving us our protein, our calcium, our vitamin B12 and our iodine, all vitally important whilst pregnant, for mum and for baby. But just be mindful, look at those labels when you're thinking about fats and salts for our savoury options and fats and sugars for our sweet options. And do keep in mind that if they are reduced in fat, it does not mean that they're reduced in calcium. So for example, with our full fat, our semi-skimmed and our skimmed milk, they'll all have the same amount of calcium, it's just the fat that's removed. As well as with dairy alternatives, do keep an eye on those labels and make sure they're fortified. That's really, really important. And if you're thinking, I'm not quite managing enough, then take a look at our British Dietetic Association food fact sheets. Fantastic website with all different fact sheets around different nutrients, and they always have a long list of a table that will give you different types of foods and drinks and then how much calcium's in there. And they're a great way of looking at what you're having throughout the week. Even pop it down, write it down and take a look yourself to make sure you feel like you're having enough. And we'll see you soon.